Edwards on the drive, goes inside the turn him over again. Booker scoops it up. Booker brings the boom.
That is right. We are back. It's been about a year, or not a year, a week. Sorry, not a year, a week. It's been a week about since we've been on here. Did not mean to say a year, but we're back. It's fun talking some NBA hoops. We've had a lot of playoff games so far, right? It was the play-in, but it's been a good time. I like the teams that have gotten in. I felt like they're good teams for, I shouldn't say for DFS, but they'll maybe make it competitive, right? Like the Heat can make the series fun. You know, that's what I was rooting for last night. Did you want to see Anthony Davis and the Dallas Mavericks and their defense winning championships go up against the Oklahoma City Thunder? Of course you did. I didn't want to see them go out there without a point guard playing. I wanted to see, hey, maybe John Morant gets an electric dunk, right? Maybe they could steal one game. You never know. I'm not saying they're going to win that series, but I think we got the right teams in, JSU. I don't know about you, but do you think we got the right teams in so far?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the Mavericks with all the injuries down the stretch and stuff like that, you know, it's a totally different conversation if, like, they were healthy, right, Mangone? But they weren't, so. And, yeah, we got the two best teams in. The Heat game, that game was awesome. The way that game finished was pretty sweet. Overtime. Davion Mitchell, of all people, being the Heat savior, Mangone, for overtime. I don't think that going into that game, anyone was going to predict Davion Mitchell would be the Heat savior at the end in the overtime section of that game. So that was pretty badass to watch.
JCU, I had his under on 10.5 points. It was great until overtime.
Oh my God.
It was a great bet. I don't care. It was a great bet. That's one you look at. You're just like, that was a bad beat. Like, what can you do?
I mean, that's rough. He had what, 9 points in the overtime alone?
He had nine in the overtime, and then I think he ended with like 16. So like before that, he had 7, which it was a good bet. I don't care what.
Yeah. No, those are ones, Mangone, where you're like, even though you lost, you were like, okay, I wasn't wrong. Like that was a good bet. It just ran bad. So yeah, I mean, yeah, we got the best teams in. Do I think that the Heat can push the Cavs a little bit, at least give them yeah, I do. I mean, they got the better coach. They got, a solid team. I'm not going to say they got the best player in the series because they don't. But they definitely have the coaching edge, and, maybe that comes with a win or two in that series. I wouldn't be shocked. So, yeah, we got the better team. I mean, Memphis, we'll see what happens with them. They can be a good team. They have good players. It's just, down the stretch, they weren't really a good team, and that's why they landed in the spot they landed at, right, Mangone? They were what, second in the West at one point, and then just fell apart.
Yeah, they traded they released their coach, right, which seemed crazy. Yep. Also, I don't know if you know this, JC. I heard on the broadcast because, I mean, we know a lot about coaches, but this coach I didn't know much about. The new guy is a EuroLeague legend, so that's why he loves Zach Edey, right? That's why he absolutely just pounds him in there for minute after minute. And, that made a lot more sense when I kind of learned that information. So
we like that for DFS, right, Mangone?
We do, yeah, because now we know what's going to happen, right? Like even yesterday, I was like, do I want to play Zach Edey? I do think he could have issues. And then I was like, I'll just play him. So it's just, you just gotta...
When you see a guy getting those consistent minutes, it's like, I'm just going to play him. I'm taking those minutes, right, Mangone? Like I'm just taking those minutes in the playoffs. And that's the thing with these playoffs is minutes are king. And, you might be wrong a little bit on Haywood Highsmith's minutes. Like, I don't know if everyone had him getting the type of minutes he got, but, if you can bank a couple guys that land on those type of runs, right, Mangone, where you catch the right, role player in the correct series, you can win a lot of money in the NBA playoffs. So, because you really want guys that are playing. You do not want the guys that are, just in there for 15 minutes and that's really it. So, we'll see. But it should be a fun 4-game slate.
Yeah, it'll definitely be a fun 4-game slate. Yes, Spencer, I am well rested. I actually got to bed an hour earlier than normal because I was like, I need to be up. I got to try my best, and I got to bed.
What's that, like 2 a.m. Mango?
No, I think I'm trying to think. I think I fell asleep at like 12:30. So, but
There is no shot that you normally go to bed at 1:30 every night. Like, I put that at a 0% chance.
Between 1 and 2, like every night. Yeah, that's it.
At least two. At least two. I've seen you tweeting at 2:30, 3. I've seen it. I'm calling bullshit.
My favorite sometimes is like when I'll go to sleep and I'll just I'll look at the clock. I'll be like, it's like 5 a.m. or something. I'll be like, AP's probably starting the playbook right now. You know what I mean? Like just jokingly laugh about it. So, but all right, let's dive in and talk about the games. We'll probably we'll talk bets here and there. I can give out some props. I've already dove through and made all my prop bets today. We'll talk series stuff too. We'll give series as well.
Shout out to my guy Uncle T, man, going shipping another. I think it was 5K. Yeah. I don't know which contest it was on DraftKings, but shout out to my boy. He's been killing it in the MLB streets. I got to give props when it's due to my man Uncle T.
Uncle T is on fire. So
the better looking knee house, by the way, just to clarify that for everyone who doesn't know, better looking knee house for sure.
Yeah. I also, JC, I know you saw my tweet. I said, luckily I'm on the show today because Big T was tagged on the show. But I said, luckily I'm on the show, so you don't have to listen to Big T slob all over the Nuggets.
Listen, we can't have Big T on a Nuggets show right now because you just know what would happen. It'd be just a jerk-off session with Big T stroking his Nuggets. And then he'd be like, I just feel like I'm saying the same thing over and over, but Jokic, he's just a lock. I don't know what else to say. I feel like I'm just regurgitating what I normally say, but I am. I can't help myself.
Yeah, and I did get a comment from someone named James. He says, I appreciate this more than you know. So, James, I am here for you. We are not making sure Big T is not slobbing all over the Nuggets. And listen, we'll talk about that series as we get to it. We'll talk about it.
I'm sorry, but I have to just give myself props because I think that was a pretty fucking good Big T impression.
It was really good. One of your better ones for sure.
I think so. We need that clipped. Can we get Ryan, or if Rubio's watching the show later, we need that clipped, all right, for when Jokic goes off and I did the whole Big T thing. And, we need that clip for later on tonight. So thank you. I hope people enjoyed that, my Big T impression.
Yes, it was enjoyed. James is also in the chat hanging out with us, so happy to have you. Even Terry says it was well done. So
thank you, Uncle T.
All right, let's dive into the slate. Milwaukee Bucks, Indiana Pacers. So JSU, I want to ask you this before we start, okay? Because I still have not made the bet. Before we start, JSU, who do you think should be the favorite in this series? Do you think it should be the Pacers or the Bucks?
Okay, so we're gonna go through all the series at the end and who we bet and
agreed, but I need to know this.
But to be honest with you, Mangone, when I was going through everything a couple days ago, before we knew the plan and stuff, but I had an idea of who I thought was going to be in the plan, and it was pretty close. I was like that one series, I looked at the price and I was like, whoa, I thought the Pacers were going to be favored because of the Damian Lillard stuff. He is cleared to resume playing, I guess, but I don't know when he's going to actually play. He's out for this game. I was kind of shocked at the price. Now, I don't know if it's moved since then. What were they, minus 195, minus 175, something like that?
The Pacers, yeah, they were so at one point the Bucks were plus 180. I saw that.
It moved though. It moved after the Dame news, right?
No, because of the Dame news, correct.
So I thought that the wrong team was probably favored with the Dame news. But before even the Dame news came, I was like, that seems a little wide. That's what I thought. Yeah. So I was before the Dame news, I was probably going to lay my money on the Bucks, even though I think it's a 7-game series because I know for a fact the Pacers have always played the Bucks well.
I agree. I just think this one's a gift. I think the wrong team's favored. I was just curious if you had the same opinion. It sounds like you have a similar opinion.
I'll tell you this. I'm betting this series to go 7. I know for a fact the Pacers play this team well.
Yeah, it's definitely one I've waited a little bit because I know it's going to be a dogfight. So I'm like, I could maybe get a better line later too. You never know. I don't know. The point I'm getting at is I think this.
I think you do, Mangone. This is what as a bettor, this is what I hope. I hope the Pacers go up 2-0. I hope they win the first 2 games in Indiana. I hope Dame comes back, right? We catch a good series price, and then the series goes 7.
Yeah, that's why I was possibly waiting for like the Dame stuff. He's got a conditioning issue. We'll get into it more later, but I just wanted your quick take on it because I've been mulling over sending out a tweet, JSU, and saying I've done it twice and it's 2-0. I can't ruin the streak, but I'm risking saying this is a gift. You're getting plus money in the series. The Bucks are the best team, and people are crazy for paying the Pacers.
The normal way I look at the NBA play, I look at it very simply, Mangone. When I take a series, if I see that the team with the best player on the floor, like the best player, right, overall, is the dog, I'm normally going to like that team.
Yeah,
I think that. So, in terms of the NBA, because normally that team is going to win a lot of the time. When you have the top dog player, you're going to win. So, I mean, we'll talk about it as we get in. But when I see a dog price on, the team I see as clearly the best player. I mean, Giannis is the best player in the series. I don't think we have to argue this with anybody. You know, Tyrese Halliburton's probably number 2, but Giannis is definitely number 1. I'm going to normally like that team.
Well, sounds like we are aligned on that. Let's talk DFS. Let's talk the Milwaukee Bucks. Giannis Antetokounmpo, 11.2K. Definitely a great spend, especially with no Damian Lillard. Yes, they do have Bobby Portis back. Bobby Portis, 5K. I mean, JC, 5K is really cheap for Bobby Portis. I mean, we are going to play bench guys. You kind of have to play bench guys during the playoffs. You try to play as many starters as you can. You try to be selective with your bench guys, right? I'm not trying to play Ryan Rollins and AJ Green. Even Kevin Porter Jr., I'm a little cautious with, especially at the price tag of 4.3. I think he could get there, but we'll have to see. He's got ownership, but I got to see who's starting. Starting lineups are going to be important for me with the guard situation in Milwaukee. Taurean Prince, Gary Trent Jr., good 3-and-D guys that you could make the case, man, they could get hot from downtown, right? We saw Georges Niang get hot from downtown and be a tournament winner. So there's guys that are in play. It's clearly Giannis Antetokounmpo as the best play. After that, I think it could be any of these guys. You could make the case it's Kyle Kuzma at 5'7", but it's clearly a Giannis spot. And then these other guys you can mix and match. Indiana Pacers. I really like to target the Milwaukee Bucks with guards, right? That's typically what I like to do. Tyrese Halliburton has to be in the conversation at 8.3. You are going to see some weird price tags. It feels weird seeing Pascal Siakam at 7K, right? He's been at 7.5 and 7.8. So you see that tag, and it looks like it's kind of some bait. I don't know if I'm going to go with Pascal at 7K. I just prefer maybe a Halliburton, a Miles Turner at 6.1. I always preach when he is in the lower 6Ks, his upside is 40+. You cannot ignore him. He's got to be in play. He's just got to hit his threes. If he hits his threes, he has the ability to be a tournament winner. Talk about guards that we want to target against the Bucks. Why not Andrew Nembhard, right? We know he can get hot from downtown at 4.5. He's going to be a starter at 4.5. That can't be ignored. Point guard and shooting guard eligible. Benedict Mathurin. I actually have him for over 3.5 rebounds at -105. You want to go bet that over on DraftKings? I already placed that bet. It was one of my best bets of the day when I looked at some of the numbers. So Benny Mac, I like guards. He is a guard, right? He's a forward and guard. I think he's got the ability to have a huge game at 4.8. And then another bet I made was TJ McConnell. He's 4K, but again, guards against the Pacers. We've seen TJ McConnell have a bigger role when he is in the playoffs. 4K is really cheap, and 6.5 points. I took the over on TJ McConnell. So those are some of my bets. Those are some DFS plays to talk about. Big T says, clip these nuts, Johnny. So fire back at Big T and then talk about the Pacers and the Bucks.
No, that's exactly what I wanted to hear. That means that my impression was spot on. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's a W in the chat. You know, we put a W in the chat. And
right. When you get them to respond, you know you won. That's how I feel in that situation. So because I know Big T and he doesn't respond just randomly. All right. So I will clip that scene right there for myself because I thought it was a great little scene that I did right there, a little impression. I thought it was a good one. In terms of this game, man, I think we can be honest with the 4-game slate. I think there's 2 games, in my opinion, that are clearly the 2 best DFS games. And then I think there are other games that might be the better, like, real games and stuff like that. And I think this is one of the better DFS games. Now, in terms of who I like, one thing with Giannis that we have to note is throughout the year, Mangone, I think everyone's been Jokic over Giannis on majority of slates. Now, coming down the stretch to finish the season, what did we see from Giannis and from Doc? Well, they bumped the minutes, right? Giannis was playing like, I'd probably say like 33, 34, maybe get up to like 35 minutes majority of the season. And that didn't change rarely at all, no matter like the type of game they were in. Well, the last few games, besides the blowout game against New Orleans, where New Orleans played literally their G League team pretty much, Giannis played 38 minutes, 43 minutes, 39 minutes. What did that result in? It resulted in massive fantasy point spikes from him just for those extra couple minutes. I also noted in the chat too, who was it? Lee said Giannis assist rates way up. Bobby's going to help him with easy buckets minus Dame. He's 100% right. So I think that the Giannis Jokic conversation is a lot closer than what it has been. I still would probably think that Jokic is probably the guy you want to project ahead of Giannis. But I think these projections are really low from what I'm looking at right now. And I just have SaberSim up right now, our partner SaberSim. And they got Giannis for 56 fantasy points. I think that's way too low. They got Jokic at 61. I mean, I think that's incredibly low as well. I think they're really I think you really want to bump those guys on this slate. And I'm going to do that. Like, I'm going to put Jokic towards like the 70 mark probably. And I'm going to put Giannis towards like the low 60s, 60, 62, 63, somewhere around there. Cause I just think they're light projections. So I definitely like Giannis. It helps that the price tags move down on these guys too a little bit from the end. I think Bobby Portis is a really good play. 5K. I definitely like him. Who else here? I like Aaron Nesmith as a value. You didn't bring him up. I definitely like him a little bit, probably ahead of Andrew Nemhard. They're close in my opinion, but I think I would lean Nesmith.
He's the if you had to pick, I'm not saying anyone can stop Giannis. He's the Giannis stopper, right? He is the guy. If they could match Nesmith on Giannis for the entire game, they would. Now, the problem is fouls. Will he be able to overcome that? I don't know. But the point I'm getting at is
the good thing, though, is if he does, it's going to result in him playing a lot of minutes, right? And he's 4-1. So, yeah, again, I go back to like he's cheap. He's going to get minutes over Benedict Mathurin because of that, right, Mangone? Now, if he gets in foul trouble, Benedict Mathurin might get more minutes as a result too. So I think both those guys are good plays, Mangone. I probably wouldn't play them together, though, is my point. I'd probably play like one or the other. And then, Miles Turner's a fine play. I'm not playing Siakam. I'm probably not playing Andrew Nemhard. I feel like his projection's a little high too, just to be honest. When everyone's healthy, I don't know. I feel like it's a little high for me. So I'm probably not going to go there. And then on the Buck side, I mean, Kevin Porter's been awesome. I don't want to play Kevin Porter, but I'm not going to ignore him here at 4,300 either. So a guy who, the minutes are volatile, but he can fill it up when you need to. So I think my favorite Bucks are in this order: Mangone, Giannis, Bobby Portis, Kevin Porter Jr. Those three. And I think for Indiana, it's probably Tyrese is probably still the best play. Tyrese, and then price included, Aaron Nesmith, Miles Turner, Benedict Mathurin, Andrew Nembhard from there. So that's the way I rank this team or this game. And I think it's a great DFS game. I think the first two games are clearly better than the last two games from a fantasy standpoint.
Yes, and we have to address the chat because some people do not watch ball, JSU. Aaron Nesmith is 6'5", Giannis is 6'11". How is Nesmith going to stop Giannis? I didn't say he was. Did I ever say
Nobody
that?
said he's going to stop Giannis. That's why we like Giannis. That's why we want to pay up for these studs.
He is the guy that they put in there to try to match him. Like if you said JSU, fourth quarter, final 8 minutes.
You gotta remember too, they don't want Pascal to get in foul trouble if they could choose who to not get in foul trouble, right? So they're gonna try and put other guys on him. Here's the thing with Giannis, Mangone. You're not playing him straight up.
Correct.
Like you're just not doing that. So in the end, Aaron Nesmith can guard Giannis because he's not the only one guarding Giannis. That's why they can do that. Like it's a team effort when you guard someone like Giannis, especially in the playoffs. And you want to make him shoot jumpers. You want to keep him from the rim. That's what you want to do. They're probably not going to be able to do it all game. If they do, they're going to win.
Yeah.
That's literally the key to stopping the Bucks. But when they bring help, those other guys like Bobby Portis, Kevin Porter Jr., Gary Trent, Brook Lopez, he's going to hit them for open shots. So I kind of like the assist. What's his assist prop right now, Mangone? Is it like 7.5, 8.5? What is it?
Giannis?
Yeah.
It's 7.5. Why? Do you like the over?
I like the over. Yeah.
I like the under. So we just
do you really?
I got it at plus 124.
Okay.
So yeah.
I mean, that's not bad.
Yeah.
I'm surprised it's juiced that high to the over.
Yeah. I mean, it is.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, Siakam might have the most matchup minutes. Here's the thing. He'll be on the court helping too. They're going to double. I've seen it.
Yeah.
How many times have we seen it, Jason? We've seen it so many times. They put Nesmith on. Like, we'll see.
I mean, I watched this matchup a ton. They again, like I said, Indiana plays Milwaukee very tough. They played Milwaukee very tough for the last couple of years. That's just a fact. But they're going to throw. They will throw Siakam on them. That's not to say they won't have Nesmith play him a little bit, just to try and throw different bodies at him. I don't think you're going to see Siakam play him the whole game.
Yeah, and not everyone's going to. The whole point is he could gain more minutes because of this, right? As a value starter, right? That's exactly what you need. And you are right. Giannis does nuke this team every time. It's a great matchup for Giannis. That's kind of one reason
it's such a good matchup.
It's kind of one reason I like his under JSU at the plus 124 because I just think he's going to get his points in the paint, right? And it's like sometimes Indiana's okay with kind of conceding that, and then they're just trying to, limit the damage from the other players from like kick out threes being wide open and stuff like that. So,
well, it's a really good matchup too because both centers want to be on the outside, right, Mangone? So when you have both centers that want to be on the outside, it's going to create a lot more easy buckets, right? Because Brook's going to pull Miles out from under the paint because he has to. He can't just leave Brook Lopez out there. Brook Lopez is a very, very solid three-point shooter. So what that's going to do is it's going to open up everything for Giannis to get rebounds, right, Mangone, to push the pace, to get downhill, right? So it's just a perfect matchup in general for those two guys, or for Giannis.
Yeah. One last thing. What about KPJ? Someone says it could be the Niang play. I don't think KPJ is starting. He could close. I wouldn't be surprised if he happened to close the game if he's playing well. I see him at 27% for ownership, which feels high for a bench guy during the playoffs, JSU. Like, that's one reason why I'm a little cautious with him.
It's just a ceiling, though, Mangone. Like,
I know.
Not many bench guys have his type of ceiling. And when you look at this team, they just might need his scoring out there. Like, it just depends on how the game's going and how he's playing, obviously, which sucks. You know what I mean? But that's just the truth. Like, it's all going to depend on how he's affecting the game, if he's doing a good job. So I think he's a solid DFS play, but it's definitely more of like a tournament. The floor is not as high as you would like. The ceiling is there, though. The tournament winning upside is definitely there.
Yeah, he's one I have to think about. I just because of the ownership. I
ranked him third. I mean, I don't know how do you rank the Bucks? I got him as the third best play.
I get why you have him third because it's like once it's Giannis, it's a huge drop off, right? And it's like
huge, yeah. And it's like you either like Bobby or Brooke. Yeah. You know what I mean? I don't like Kuzma as much.
I think Kuzma could be benched in the fourth, right? Like
I hate Kuzma, so you're talking to the right guy when it comes to benching Kuzma.
I'm just it's just when you see a bench guy like on a 4-game slate at like 25+%, like it does give you reason to pause. I didn't realize he was 4-3. I thought he was 5-3. I read it wrong earlier, but because the prices have been so high on him, but I'm curious to see what the starting lineup is. I'll tell you this, if KBJ is magically starting JSU, he becomes an amazing play, right? Like he becomes a guy out the gate you probably want to get a lot of exposure to. So
yeah, and I don't think he starts, honestly, but
honestly that could be better for him because then he gets that second team usage. And
I would prefer him not start.
Yeah, I could see that.
And I think they do too, because if you think about, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but like the Giannis starting, let him take the beginning stuff. Let Kevin come off the bench when Giannis comes out for a little bit, score a little, see how he's playing, and then go from there. I think they like that as opposed.
I just wish I knew if he was closing. Like I think that's super important.
Well, that's the thing. I don't think that I don't think you're ever gonna know. I think that's just gonna be game by game.
I know, and that's why you got to figure out ownership and make a decision. Hey, is it worth it? Is it not? We'll see what I end up doing with old KPJ, but I think he's a big decision point early on. That's all I'm getting at.
Fair.
Yeah, and I agree with why don't you rank the Pacers, Jason? Because all these guys are getting ownership, right? Every single one is I
did already. I had a Tyrese, Nesmith, Miles Turner, Benedict Mathurin, Andrew Nembhard, Siakam. Yes,
that works. I think I have Nembhard maybe over Nesmith, but it's close. I think Mathurin has the best upside of all of them. Problem is the downside's way worse, but I should call that out.
Mathurin is their KPJ.
Yes. Good call. That's
in a way.
Yes. The sixth man that can close easily, and who knows who's going to actually close. Easily. We'll have to see.
Yep. And it's a good matchup for Mathurin. It's a good matchup for him because he can hit threes. He can take the ball to the hoop. It's a good matchup. It's just, do they need his scoring or do they need more of a defensive guy out there is going to be the question. But he can definitely get it done.
Yeah, you know what else I like about him? Like, if Nesmith does get into foul trouble playing defense, which he can at times, right? Or he just like doesn't do much and just sits in the corner and doesn't make his shots, because that happens with Aaron Nesmith. That's part of the experience. Benny Mack can benefit, right? So you can make a case that maybe not play both of them together, right? Some of those guys. So it's something to think about. Like maybe not play a KPJ and a Kuzma together if you're considering doing that. So something to think about for sure. Let's get to the Clippers and the Nuggets. Big T, no need to talk in the chat about your Nuggets. You can get on Twitter if you want to. But let's talk about this game. Nikola Jokic, 7.8K, or not 7.8, 11.8K, read that wrong. 7.8K Zabaka Zubac, which I'm excited for this matchup, JC, because I think Zubac, again, I don't want the chat to take it out of context, but
say it, Mangone. Say it, Mangone.
Zubac is not the Jokic stopper, okay? He's not. But what I'm saying is,
say it, Mangone. I want to hear you say it out loud.
If you had to draw up a guy to defend Jokic, he's a great, he's one of the guys in the league you'd pick, right? Like he is, it's actually not a great, I shouldn't say it's not a great matchup for Jokic, right? But I'm just saying they have the guy to slow him down, right? Like they really do. And I actually like the Clippers when they were plus 120, then it like flipped the other way. But like Zubac is good on defense. That's all I'm saying. Like it's just, if you had to pick 5 guys in the league to defend Jokic, would he be a guy you would take, JSU? I'm asking. I think he's one of the guys, right?
What's funny is
like pick 5 centers, JSU. Pick 5. Pick 5 to defend Jokic. No one can, but pick 5.
Do you remember when like Nurkic used to give him trouble and like, oh yeah, there's all these centers. It's like what Jokic has done over the years is he's like figured out everybody that's given him trouble, and he's like figured out a way how to dominate them. Right, like Rudy Gobert, defensive player, Jokic just dominates him now.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter, even if in your mind, man, going, you're like, well, you can't say 5 centers that you'd pick over Zubac. Okay, that's fine. I still watch Jokic cook every single center in the NBA, and it doesn't even matter. So I think the point is, how do I say this? I think it's pointless pretty much to bring this up because it doesn't matter at the end of the day. Like he's still going to beat 99.9% of the time every center in the NBA. He's that good. He's the best player.
He's the best player in the league.
James Harden said he's the best player in the world, but we want to see SGA win the MVP for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But whatever. He's the best player. Like everyone in the league knows Jokic is the best player. So what do you do with him? In my opinion, you make him just beat you. You make him score. Like you make him be a scorer. He does not want to be a scorer, but he will if he has to. I think you just make him score. You make Zubac play him straight up.
That's my point. You don't have to
straight up as you can. And I think Jokic is going to go for 40. Like I think he's going to go for 40 in this spot here. And I think the projection is just silly. 61. I don't know what it is around the industry. I'm looking at Saber. 61 is just low. I'm going to bump him and Giannis and see what I get of them because the price tags are low too. Like Jokic was finishing the year. What was he, like 13K? Now he's 11.8, which obviously they do this for everyone, right? In the playoffs, they bring it down a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think this is a smash spot here for Jokic. It's just, but I get what you're saying. Like maybe Zubac can give him a little trouble.
He plays it straight up, JC. The point I'm getting at is you don't have to double as much, which is going to lead to the big Jokic games. I agree 100%.
Triple double for Jokic. I like the points.
I agree.
I definitely think he probably wins the DK's doing like the king of the playoff. Mangone, I don't know if you saw the.
Oh, are they? I want to do that.
So if you guys didn't see DraftKings Sportsbook, they're doing King of the Playoffs, which is it's not the PRA, it's the leading point scorer. I'm pretty sure, Mangone. So it's not the points, rebounds, assists like they've been doing. They're doing
Is it for Saturday and Sunday or just Saturday?
I think it's just for today's games.
Okay,
I'm pretty sure, and because I'm sure they're going to do it tomorrow too. So I think it's $2 million prize pool. Minimum bet is $5. So you only got to put $5 on it.
Yeah.
And you just bet like a player prop for the player that you like. And all you got to do is put a minimum of $5 on it to qualify for a chance at a share of $2 million, right? And you're just betting the guy you think scores the most points on the slate, the most points, not fantasy points, like actual points. So make sure you guys check that out. It's an awesome promo. I don't know who I'm going to bet yet, but I'm sure Jokic is going to be one of the more popular bets, Mangone, and I could see why. Like Jokic and Giannis probably the top two because they probably both dropped 40 or close to it. But back to this game here. Outside of Jokic, who I think is a slam dunk, I feel like both these teams have really good plays. James Harden at 9K, Kawhi Leonard at 8.4. That just seems really cheap, right? They're playing these guys massive minutes, Mangone, and it's not going to change, like in the 40s. So I don't know how you don't like the Clippers top dogs here with their minutes. Like their minutes are just so big right now, and they're going to stay there as long as they don't get in foul trouble. So I really like them. I mean, Zubac's probably the only guy I probably prefer Kawhi Leonard or Harden, but at least we've seen he has upside.
Yeah.
I miss this, Brett. JSU Ben Simmons a lock. Yeah, Ben Simmons. Definitely not a lock for Ben Simmons here, but center too, Ben Simmons, 4K. Back to it. But yeah, I think the Clippers guys are out after Jokic, the best plays, Harden, Kawhi. I probably rank it Kawhi, Harden, Mangone. I don't know how you have, well, they're really close.
I have it Kawhi Harden.
Do you? Okay. I think I have it that way too.
Projections won't agree, right? If you look at Saber, Harden is 5 points higher than Kawhi, and for $600, that's probably worth it. But I've talked about it all year. Spending up at forward has definitely been a pretty good strategy. Not only that, Kawhi Leonard and Steve Boynton, you don't watch the shows. That's why you don't get it. You don't get the joke. It's okay. I've never said his name right, and I say it over and over to tilt the chat. So you don't get the show, as they say. It's okay.
Why would we care about pronouncing a name right, Steve Boynton?
Correct.
Listen, you do shows with JT Hayes all the time. Does he pronounce anyone's name right?
Yeah.
No. Who cares? Who gives a shit? Listen, Steve, this is what I want you to do. I want you to go back into your man cave or wherever you get your winners from and give me another 6 MLB winners for the day, okay? I saw you hit a bunch of winners yesterday. I want it back-to-back today. Don't worry about NBA. Don't worry about pronouncing these names, all right? Matherin, whatever you want to call them. Get back in the cave. Get me some MLB winners for today. I want another 6. I want another 6 for 6. Here, I'm betting them all again.
We got breaking news from James. He's heard Steve Boynton screw up a couple MLB names. So, yeah.
Listen, it you know what? It happens to the best of us. And I would bet that Steve Boynton could have been a little intoxicated when he was trying to pronounce those names, Mangone. It's possible, but it happens to everyone.
Yeah. And, me waking up early, Steve, that's like me basically being intoxicated, right? You know what I mean? This is very early for me. So
I thought he was going to the Cubs game today. Steve, aren't you going to the Cubs game today?
He probably is. It's supposed to be cold and wind blowing in. So wear a sweatshirt.
Oh, it's the opposite of what it was yesterday.
It flipped. Yeah, it flipped. So.
Bro, that was the best too, by the way. So I don't know if you bet that game, Mangone, because it was a 2:00 like a standalone baseball game. It wasn't like a part of the main slate. So I don't know if you bet it, but it was like, I don't know, like 2-1 in the 5th or 6th or whatever it was, like some ridiculous. And obviously everyone bet the over, right, Mangone? It was like 11.5. I think it moved from like 9.5 to 11.5. So everyone was slamming the over. And everyone on Twitter was bitching, never bet a Wrigley win game ever. This is bullshit, blah, blah, blah. Because everyone slammed the over. Like 2 grand slams later, fucking 20 runs later, and the game's fucking 13-11. There's 7 home runs or 6 or 7 home runs. It was like the best thing. It was like the best thing ever. Yeah, you don't need to tilt until after the game is over. Like there's still time in the game. Everyone was going nuts on Twitter. It was great. I was just sitting there like, I can't wait for these bombs late to happen. And everyone just freak out. Like it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, for sure. We should get back to DFS a little bit just because we talked about Jokic. We like him. Listen, Kawhi and Harden, they're both good plays, right? Like I don't have this like strong take of one over the other. They're not my favorite studs on the slate. I'll say that. These guys aren't like priority studs for me, but they're solid. We know the Nuggets don't play great defense. This is definitely a high total, right? I think it's like 223.5 or something like that. So there's over. Yeah, I'd agree. It seems like the games that are going to be the best for fantasy scoring are probably the first 2. I should say fantasy scoring for just like the totals being high. But anyways, let me get back to the fantasy stuff. So saw some people talking about Aaron Gordon in the chat. I know he's been splashing it. 6-1 does feel expensive for Aaron Gordon, but I think he's in play today. I don't think he's a bad play. I'll mention this though, JSU. Jamal Murray. We should really, really talk about this, JSU. we saw playoff Jimmy Butler, right? We know about playoff Jamal Murray. Like, historically, he's one of the best playoff performers versus regular season performers. Jamal Murray at 7,600, I think is a really interesting play that cannot be ignored on this slate. Norman Powell looks interesting at 6K. I don't think that's a terrible price tag for him. I don't love MPJ. Westbrook coming off the bench at 6'3". I don't like that price. Christian Brown, you can talk about him at 5'6". But for me, I think Jamal Murray of the mid-tier guys, it's like, I think he's a really intriguing one that has a massive ceiling. So give me your thoughts, though, on Jamal Murray and some of these other mid-tier options, JC.
Yeah, it's just like, is Jamal like fully healthy, Mango? And is he like fully ready back at it? I'm not sure. I do think in his range, when you look at like that, just under 8K, right? You got Zubac, Jamal, Josh Hart, Austin Reeves, Julius Randle, Pascal Siakam. Like, would you rank Jamal ahead of all those guys? Because I think it's really close. Like, I think it's close, but you probably would, right? Or most of them.
No, yeah. I mean, he's that good of a play. He is shooting guard eligible too, which like gives him an extra position: point guard, shooting guard, and utility. So I don't know how much that matters, but it doesn't hurt. I know yesterday on the 2 gamers, people were complaining about how bad shooting guard was. So that is something to think about too at 7,600. I love his upside, so I'm with you.
I think in this spot, I kind of like Aaron Gordon. I like Christian Brown, however you say his name. I think he's a solid play. I probably won't get to Jamal, but I get what you're saying. I just think like that price range, I'm probably going to go like just ahead of that price range, Mango, and try and get into those 8K studs, because I think there's a big difference between that mid 7K range in the 8Ks. So if I can get more in the 8Ks, I rather it. Like, wouldn't you rather have 700 more and get Kawhi? Wouldn't you rather have 1,100 more and get to Ant? They're just better plays. You know what I mean? They just have bigger, I think, ceilings. So I'm going to probably go to like the more mid-tier Denver guys outside of Jokic, and then go from there. The question for me is like, is there any like cheap plays that we can find? Like, I think Chris Dunn's a decent play at 3,500. I don't know what you think about Chris Dunn, but they like his defense. His floor is not great, but to get Jokic, to get Giannis, you're going to need to spend down here. I think Chris Dunn makes some sense as a spend down option. And then on the Denver side, is there any like cheap guys? The problem is like, they're kind of priced up. Like Peyton Watson's 4,500. He should be like 30. He should be the same price as like Chris Dunn, and he's not. So I don't really see a ton of Denver cheap guys that I like. I think I like the mid tiers, and I like Jokic.
Yeah, in this game, I'll tell you, I bet Chris Dunn steals at 1.5 plus 178. 2 steals, I bet the over on, and then I bet the under on Chris Dunn's points at 6.5. And I think I bet the under on 7.5 rebounds for MPJ. So those are some of the bets I'm on for that game. If you guys want some of those props. Chris Dunn's fine. What do you think of Bogey?
Yeah, I think Bogey and Chris Dunn are the 2 cheap guys from this game. That's a good call from Y. I think Denver doesn't really have many cheap guys I can get on board with. The Clippers definitely have more of the cheap options. So yeah, I'm fine with him and Chris Dunn as the 2 cheap guys. Probably wouldn't do if I was 150 in. I think you could add maybe another guy like a flyer on a Derrick Jones Jr. But if you're playing like 20 lineups or something like that, I'm not playing him. I'd rather Boggy or Chris Dunn. So yeah, those are the guys in Denver. I just see the mid tier and the studs. I'm probably not going to play Jamal with you, so I'll leave you for the Jamal. If he goes off, then move on to the next day. I did hear though about the trade. My Homer friend Anthony was telling me how all the players are actually happy that the said coach is gone and stuff like that. So we'll see if that results in a run in the playoffs. But
yeah, we'll see about that. Lycan's asking Steve, who is on
There is no way you didn't bet the Clippers, by the way, Mangone.
I missed the line, so I didn't.
Oh, I was for sure like you got the line.
No, I made a stupid mistake, and I checked when I was like laying in bed at 1 a.m. and I realized, why didn't I look at the lines? I looked at the lines, and I was pretty tired, and I just didn't bet them. I don't know. It was stupid. I looked at them, and I saw all the
I can't believe that, Mangone. That's a shocker.
All the dog prices that I liked, I said, I think they'll still be good tomorrow. The dog prices typically don't move, right? Typically, it's like the favorites that get pounded in round one. So I thought maybe I'd get better price in the morning, and all of mine flipped. Not to say I won't still bet some of them, but I just said, I can wait a little bit. So
the Clippers are definitely I feel like one of the more popular bets for a series price.
Yeah. Real quick, this is fake news in the chat. So Lycan said, who's on the playbook? I'm on the playbook, Steve. It's not AP. I'm dialing in while I'm on the show. So I got the pitchers up. I have the batters kind of going up. The problem is, just to call this out, if you're playing MLB today, it's an 11-game slate, and it starts in 2 hours. And there's like a 2-hour gap between, like, there's 2 early games, and there's like a 2-hour gap. So not all the lineups are going to be out yet. So, like, I'm going to get the batters up. It just might be like an hour before, just because we got to see some lineups. So, but
yeah, Mangone's multitasking right here. So let's give Mangone a little credit for this.
We're multitasking.
Let's also move to the next game so we can not make this a 2-hour show.
Yeah, we'll get to the next game. Let's see. I got to pull my. It's the Knicks and the Pistons. Which, JSU, when you said out loud earlier, you said, I like to take the team that's got the best player in the series, and I like it when they're an underdog. I was curious if you think Cade Cunningham is the best player in this series. So I will ask you that, but let me talk about some of the plays that I like first. I know AP talked about Tobias Harris. If you look at the flow chart, he is cheeks today at 5.9K. You got Jalen Duren at 6'6", who, they're going to need his size, but it's not an easy matchup, and he gets in foul trouble at times. I think this is a great spot for Ausar Thompson at 5.5 or Malik Beasley at 5.1K. I'm not super high on Tim Hardaway Jr. He is a starter at 4K. If he gets hot from three, sure, he could have a good game. I bet his under on points at 10.5, so I'm not super high on THJ. I do think Cade is a decent spend. He's been 10K most of the season. Now he's 9.4K. I think he's got to be in the conversation. So I like Cade Cunningham at 9.4K as a spend. I like Ausar Thompson and Malik Beasley. Those are kind of some of the guys I'm looking at. If you need a cheap guy, you could make the Isaiah Stewart case. I know Big T would if he's on the show. Karl-Anthony Towns, Jalen Brunson, 2 studs in this game. Maybe you think they're the best players in this series, JSU. 8.5K for Brunson, 9.5 for Cat. They're both definitely spends that you can be intrigued by. Anunoby and Bridges, I don't love their prices. I know OG Anunoby has been playing a lot better basketball. I doubt he's going to just continue shooting the lights out like he is. So I don't love a lot of these Knicks in the mid-tier. I think it's mainly the studs, and then for the Pistons, it's kind of a couple of those mid-tier guys I talked about, and then maybe Cade is a stud. But JSU, answer the question. Is Cade Cunningham the best player in this series?
Well, I'll wait for that when we talk about our series price.
Okay.
I don't want to get into that just yet. But strictly from a DFS standpoint, I don't really get listen, if you want like 28, 25, you can play Tobias. Like he's probably going to get you like mid to high 20s there. So I probably won't play Tobias, but I get it. If you like land there and you're just like, give me the best condom play on the slate, it's probably Tobias Harris. Like, I wish he was like 5'5", but that's okay. I want guys that I can at least see sparking some upside. The Ausar Thompson thing, I don't get. Like, why do we like him, Mangone? Why do we like him? They never give him. They never bump his minutes.
I think they will today. You don't think they do today?
He played 20. I don't know. Do you think they bump his minutes?
I think so.
You think with Tobias in?
I mean, yeah.
I've even seen without Tobias, they still don't bump his minutes. So,
I think he plays between 25 to 34 minutes today.
You think he gets 34 minutes?
That's the max. That's the ceiling. The max is 34. That's if they really want to be aggressive. But it's game one. It could be a feel-out game. To be fair,
That's aggressive.
Big T does talk about this. It might be better to play some bench guys and more in game one rather than game 6 and game 7 because it's more of a feel-out. So maybe
I feel like they're going to lean more on the vets here. That's just my take on it. I think you're going to see a lot of Malik Beasley, Tim Hardaway, Dennis Schroeder.
Yeah, I prefer Thompson over Hardaway. I don't think Hardaway's that great. I'm not a big Hardaway.
Well, yeah, you do. They're 1,100. Or what are they? Like 1,500 in price. Yeah, of course you do. And Osser's got like the actual upside because he can do a lot more. But I'm just saying, like, could Tim Hardaway get hot and hit a bunch of threes?
Sure.
In Madison Square Garden, that wouldn't shock me if that happened. So, I kind of don't mind him just because he's 4K and value's not that great. So I like him. I like Malik. I could see one of those guys getting hot here, and them leaning on one of those two scorers. And then, I like Cade. It's just like it's those two guys. I like Cade. I think you can play Isaiah Stewart if your idea is like Jalen Duran gets in foul trouble. He comes in and plays more minutes. But, I'm on the shooters and I'm on Cade for the Detroit side. I think the Knicks side is a little tougher for me because I don't love this spot for the Knicks. They're fully healthy. I could totally be wrong, but like Jalen Brunson to me seems like the most mispriced guy at 8,500. Josh Hart at 7,400. I also like him, but like OG's price tag seems high. Even Bridges' price tag seems a little high with everyone healthy. But yeah, I think I'm lower on the Knicks. I think the guy I like the most is Hart. Second guy, Brunson. Definitely a little higher on Detroit. But as a fantasy game, I'm going to be lower on this game. Like I said, the first two games are better, and I'm going to treat it that way. So I'm not going to have as many guys from this game.
Well, like you're definitely right. When we talk about like the mid-tier options, right? Like those games before had better mid-tier options than this one, right? Like I definitely and I know some of those guys.
Here's the thing though, like the Clippers are all going to play massive minutes. Like Denver's going to push their guy. Like all these teams are going to play their guys a ton now. That's a thing in the regular season.
Yeah.
Like now in the postseason, we're going to get these teams pushing, Giannis 41. So I get it. Like the whole starting group is probably going to play 40-ish minutes. I get what you're saying, but it's like, man, we're going to get a lot of guys playing big minutes.
Yeah, it's about
their price tags aren't friendly like a lot of those guys. Like the only friendly price tag I think is Jalen Brunson.
Yeah, that's fair. I agree with the Knicks. The price tags are definitely not. I mean, you can argue Karl Anthony Towns' price tag is friendly at 9.5, but he is only center eligible. And if you're someone that's already playing Jokic, it gets tougher then. And if you have to dedicate salary to two spend-up centers, it definitely becomes more difficult. So that's kind of the point that I'm bringing up. Justin Sports asking if there's a chalk build on this slate. If you want a chalk build, we post that over at Run Pure Sports. Post it on the slate builder, post it on the cash plays over here. So use that code RBS15, get you 15% off, and you can check out all the other stuff we got. All right, last game to talk about, JSU. And I'd say of the three so far, that last game is probably the game we've liked the least. Let's talk about the Minnesota Timberwolves and Los Angeles Lakers. And one of the things with this game, and we probably won't love this game, and I think part of the reason why is this is a lowerish total. Also, the Lakers, all the usage is between three guys, right? It's between Luka, it's between LeBron, it's between Austin Reeves. Rui's a starter at 4.5 that you could argue for. Jackson Hayes at 4K. Definitely not a great matchup. Dorian Finney-Smith at 4.2. Maybe he gets a little bit of run and plays well. I think he's someone that they're going to use a little bit in the playoffs. But the Lakers, it's hard to like a lot of guys because it's mainly just those studs. Now, Luka's 10.8, pretty good price tag. I don't know if you saw JSU, but the Dallas Mavericks got eliminated from the playoffs 77 days after the trade of number 77, Luka Doncic. So that was probably that was a really interesting thing that I saw. But he's 10.8. LeBron 9.7, and then Reeves 7.2. They all feel like $500 cheaper than they have been lately. If you look at the Minnesota Timberwolves side of the ball, this is where our guy Big T, Ant Edwards, Big T. We hit you with one of these because Ant is the GOAT. I hit him with one of these, JC. Ant's the GOAT.
Yeah, you got to emphasize the hip movement though, man. Going when you do it, you got to emphasize that hip movement as you do it.
We're here for Ant Edwards. Bring your ass, Big T. 8.7K. I love this spot for Ant. 7.1 for Julius Randle. Rudy Gobert, 6.7K. I am intrigued to see what they do with Rudy Gobert in this series because I could see them going a little bit smaller at times. And I'm not saying they'll play Rudy off the court, but I saw some stats on the Timberwolves where they had better lineups when they had better lineups offensively when they had Naz Reid in at the 5. I think the lineup that was their best offensive lineup was Ant Edwards at the point, Dante DiVincenzo, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Julius Randle, and then Naz Reid. And then their best defensive lineups have been with Rudy Gobert over Naz Reid. But the point is, Nickeil Alexander-Walker and Dante DiVincenzo have been a lot better than Mike Conley. And they've been using them a little bit more. Those guys, I think, are intriguing bench options that you could take some darts on. I don't know if this is the right spot for it. Maybe it's when they change it up as the series goes on in Game 3 or Game 4 or 5. But there's definitely some interesting plays that I don't think we can completely ignore off the bench, like Naz Reid, DiVincenzo, and Nickeil Alexander-Walker. And, of course, one or two of those guys are going to start. JSU, take it away, though. I think these stud Lakers are in play. And then I think Ant Edwards is a really good option. And then maybe you can mix and match, some of these other bench guys. And Jaden McDaniels, who's going to be needed a ton at 4.7K. But who are some of the guys that you're looking at here?
Yeah, so I wouldn't be shocked if, in this series, I think is one of the most intriguing series of the entire playoffs because these two teams are both really good teams. And I wouldn't be shocked if going down the stretch of this series, you see a big, massive, playoff shift, depending on what happens early in the series. Naz Reid is definitely going to play a part. This is just one of those series. I think Naz is going to have to play. I think JJ is going to put them in a position where, you have to go more with the Naz Reid lineup. So it does make me like him a little bit. I do think Jaden McDaniels' price tag is cheap. I also think that, when you look at the price tags, if they do go small man going, I also think that helps Julius Randle. The way Naz Reid kind of plays outside a little bit more, it's going to help Naz Reid be like that guy inside. I think it just fits a little better. So I don't know if I'm going to get too much Julius Randle on this slate today, but I do think in this series, he's going to have to have some big games because in this series, when the Lakers go small, I think he's going to have real good chances to dominate in the paint. And I think he's going to have to because I think JJ is going to force Anthony Edwards to play make. I fully believe that. I think in the series, he's not going to let Ant just kind of do whatever he wants. And he's going to force him to play make for others. And that means Jaden McDaniels, Naz Reid, Julius Randle, they're going to be huge keys for this series. And I think they're going to have big opportunities to make a lot of shots, and that means fantasy points. So I think I lean more with the secondary guys, and you guys know I love Ant. I think he's fine if you want to get to him. I think he does score in the high 40s probably. I just feel like one or two of these role players is going to get there if Minnesota wins in this spot. And I have a feeling it's either one of those two bigs, Naz or Julius, and then one of Jaden or Dante DiVincenzo, I think is also going to be key. So those are kind of the guys. I'm more in on the cheaper Minnesota guys, Mangone, I think. And, the Lakers side, I'm definitely very light on. It might be it might be the team I'm the lightest on. Them and the Knicks are the two teams I'm probably the lightest on.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, Luka can have a big game, right, and still not be on the winner because of like the construction of the slate, right? Jokic just has a big game.
I also agree with this.
Oh yeah, they're.
I never said that it was going to work out as in they were going to win the series. I just said I think that's what JJ's going to do. I think he's going to make Julius Randle try and be the alpha in the series.
I'm with you, JSU, and I actually bet, if you want another bet that I did today, Julius Randle under on assists, 4.5 I took. So it was around, I think, even money-ish. So I tweeted them out. So if you want to go find all the bets that I tweeted out, go over there and hit the like on.
What's Ant's assist prop, Mangone? Do you have that?
I can find it.
So like 6.5, 5.5?
I think so. I remember seeing something with Ant, and it was an under, and I was like, I don't want to bet an Ant under. That sounds dumb. I see. Okay, FanDuel has 5.5, which is heavily juiced. Hold on, I gotta pull DK up. I'm pulling DK up. Yeah, it's 5.5, and it's minus 145. I do not like that. So.
Yeah.
The reason why I did not like it, JSU, was because I think he's going to just run the point more than you've seen in the past. Like, he's ran it a lot this year, but like now's the time where he just gets all the usage in the world. So I don't know. I just didn't think it was a great idea.
Yeah, I don't like the minus 145.
Yeah. All right. Are we doing? Are we going by each series or plays of the day first, JSU? What do you want to do?
Let's get the series out of the way, and then we'll finish with the plays of the day.
All right, that's what keeps the people around, right? We'll keep the people around for the plays of the day. We'll talk about the series. Are we talking about the Sunday series too? All of them?
Let's just literally go through the West and the East. Just like who you like to win, and get to the finals and win the finals. We'll go through the whole thing real quick.
All right. So let's kick it off with. We'll start with the West. The West is the most intriguing. So, Thunder
definitely the most intriguing. Why would you start with the most intriguing, Mangone? Get the East out of the way.
Okay,
come on.
It's fair.
Shout out to my guy Memphis Doug. What's up, Memphis Doug?
I'm trying to get the bracket up. That way, it's easier for me to see on my other screen. Okay, so Cavs Heat. I think the Cavs win that series. I think the Heat can at least make it like entertaining to watch. I don't think the Hawks would have made it entertaining to watch. But what's your thoughts on Cavs Heat, Jason?
Yeah, Cavs Heat. I say 4-2 Cavs.
I like 4-2. I think 5-1 or 4-1 or 4-2 is how it's going to go. Probably 4-1, but yeah.
Wow, that's a hot take right there. Magic win the finals. Woo!
Definitely a hot take. Next one up, Pacers Bucks. Great series. Going to be fun to watch. Give me Bucks. I think I'm going to say Bucks in 6. I know.
Yeah, you like the Bucks. Just say 5-1 Bucks. We know you want to say
it's not that far, but it's.
I'm going 7 games Bucks 4-3.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it goes 7. I just want to give a little bit of a hotter take, so I want to add the 6 in there.
All right.
Knicks, Pistons, JSU. So is Cade the best player in the series? Who do you got, Pistons or Knicks?
Pistons in 7, baby. I already bet it. It was plus 330. I bet it over at DraftKings, I think, a few days ago. But I'm taking a shot with the dog here. I think the Pistons are one of those teams that they have a good mix of veterans and youth. And I do feel like, even though it might be by a sliver, Cade is he's so good. I think he could be the best player in the series. And I don't like the way the Knicks have played, to be honest with you, down the stretch. I know they've had injuries and stuff, but don't love the way they've played. They always break down, too. I'm taking my shot with the dog. I know the Knicks fans probably hate that, but it is what it is.
Yeah, so JSU, if I had to pick...
Ball up, Mangone.
You're going to make fun of me for this, but if you're telling me you're getting odds, you take the Pistons, I think, at the plus 340 I saw at spots. So I'm with you on Pistons. I'll just ride with you. We'll go Pistons in 7.
There we go. Ball up.
It's the one series, though, JSU, I'll give you this. It's the one series that I don't feel as confident in. But I think if you're playing betting odds, I think
don't hedge. If you're going to hedge, get off. We don't need the hedgers.
No.
Either get on the Knicks or get on the Pistons. There's no in the middle.
Well, I'll tell you this. I know the Knicks aren't winning the next series. They're screwed. They're not beating the Celtics. No one's beating the Celtics. They're the best team in the league. They're on my team. Maybe there's some bias there, but hey, whoever took the Magic, you spent $1 to win $1,000. Donate that to the Children's Hospital. You know, when you buy your coffee, when they ask you that question, hey, would you like to round up? Don't bet the Magic to win the finals. Just round up and give your dollar away. Celtics, they beat the Magic in 4, JSC.
Yeah, Celtics. I think 4-1, but we'll see.
All right, next one up. Forklift Jeremy. Thunder up. They're playing the Grizzlies. I'll tell you this. I think the Grizzlies, I think they steal 1. I think they make it 4-1. So I'm going to say Thunder 4-1 over the Grizzlies. What about you?
I'm going to go 4-2 on the Thunder. Okay. I think the Grizzlies are just one of those teams. I think they're going to have their moments in the series. So, 4-2. I think they do lose, but I think they can be competitive with the Thunder at least. All
right. Clippers Nuggets. This is the series that has been tough for me to pick.
Pick it. You want to pick it.
I know. I'm going right now at this time. I'm going Clips. Clips in 7. I think it's a tough one. I think it's going to be a fun series to watch. I'll tell you this. I don't know what the price is right now, but as the series flip-flops back and forth, JSU, if you can ever get really good plus money on either side, I think that's the right way to bet this series. But give me the Clippers right now. I will take them over the Nuggets at a coin flip. What about you?
Yeah, I think I'm going to stick to my guns with the best player in the series. I'm going to go with the Denver side. Now, Kawhi Leonard could totally make me eat my words because when he's fully healthy in the playoffs, he's a beast. So we'll see. But I'm going to go with the Nuggets here, and I think it's another series. I think we see 7 games, man, going.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think this is the most intriguing series, and I'm having trouble picking this one. This is probably the one I'm struggling with the most with the decision. Like Nuggets Clippers, it's more like, it feels like a flip, but like I want to take the Nuggets. I want to take the Clippers. Lakers Timberwolves, I struggle with just because I think this Lakers team is primed for a pretty good run. I think the Luka versus, is going to own Gobert at times, but I do think the Timberwolves have a lot of different tools to kind of make it happen. But at the end of the day, I don't think Julius Randle's going to help this team. I think they're going to struggle. And, my heart breaks to not take Ant Edwards. I love Ant Edwards. But give me the Lakers to win in, I'm going to say 6 or 7. I'm thinking 6, JSU. As crazy as that sounds, I think they do it in 6.
Yeah, I think 6 is a good number, man, going. I got Lakers going deep too. I bet it a while back. Lakers to get there, so I will be picking the Lakers. Unfortunately, even though I love my boy Ant Edwards, I think that JJ's going to cook up something nice to make others try and do it. And I just, if Cat was still there, man, going, we might be having a different conversation. But man, Julius Randle, I don't think for a series he's going to be able to do it.
I agree. I'll say this too. If you had to pick 2 series to just like watch the first game and not wager on, I think it's Nuggets Clippers and Lakers Timberwolves. You might not get the line you might like. You might lose out on something. But if there were 2 series that I would want to watch before I wagered, you could argue it's those 2. So just want to call that out. And also another way to bet the Lakers too, JSU, that I like, I don't mind going like minus 1.5 games where they win in 6. You know what I mean? They win 4-2. You get that at plus money, I noticed. So that's a good way if you want to get on the Lakers. That's kind of how I would get on the Lakers if I decided to. Rockets, Warriors, last one to talk about. I definitely saw some people talk to some sharp people, and they like the Rockets at the plus money. I just don't agree. I just think the Warriors are winning the series. I think some of these old dogs that we've been liking all the time, like Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler, Giannis, guys who haven't been, the last couple of years haven't been as successful in the playoffs. I think it's their time to bounce back and have a year, right? LeBron James, we're going to see him make a little bit of a run. So give me Jimmy and Steph Curry to make a nice run. Playoff Jimmy. I'll take the Warriors over the Rockets, and I'm taking them in 6. What about you?
Warriors in 5. I love the Warriors here. Houston, I think it's like 5 of their 7 like key players have never. It's like their first playoff game tomorrow. So give me playoff Jimmy. Give me Steph Curry. Like 2 of the best players in the playoffs. Maybe we've ever seen. I don't know, Mangone. Like Jimmy Butler, Steph Curry. Like, give me that combination in the playoffs. I will take my chances. Warriors in 5.
Yeah, I don't hate that. So definitely think that's not a bad call, and we'll see what happens to the Rockets. I'm intrigued to see what they can do. I don't think they're a complete team. I think they're going to have to make some trades. Finally find a way to get there, but we'll see. Definitely a bad draw for them, right? Reminds me of the Kings.
It's a bad draw.
A couple of years ago, where it was like, bad draw early on, got the 2 seed and got stuck with the Warriors. So,
yeah,
we'll see how it shakes up. Let's see. I did see someone in the chat say we're going to see a growth spurt from Ant against Lakers. I hope you're right. The father in me of Ant Edwards. I feel like I've watched him grow up. I want to continue to watch him grow up, but I'm a little nervous for him. And then Yeezy asks, Draymond Green over under nut kicks, JSU. Are you on the over or under for Draymond nut kicks?
He loves a good nut kick. I'm going to go over on the nut. Is that for the series or just for the game? It's the series, right? It's got to be the series, right?
It could be, yeah. I mean, I don't know.
If it's just one game, I'll take the under and take my chances. But if it's for the series, I'm going over.
Yeah, for playoffs, it's probably 1.5 nut kicks. It's probably.
I was going to say, for the playoffs, it's got to be 1.5.
Yeah, that would be my thought. Probably 1.5 nut kick. So, I did just see on my timeline the NBA posted the Indiana jerseys or not jerseys, the shirts. They put the shirts on the the stadiums. The Indiana shirts are being laid down. Which, by the way, JSU, I went to Game 7 last year, Nuggets and Timberwolves, and they didn't give out a T-shirt. I was pissed about that. All these places do these T-shirts.
Where was that? Minnesota or Denver?
No, it was Denver. They didn't do like a whiteout or something. I had a towel instead that I could wave, which was
stupid.
Yeah, it wasn't as good as the T-shirt, so I was very upset by that. But Brooks. This is great too. Dylan Brooks versus Draymond Green. I forgot about that. We get
So Mangone, who do you got in the Western and Eastern Conference Finals, and who you got winning it? Real quick.
Me, Celtics. They go all the way,
So who do you have them beating in the East?
Okay, I'll run it quick. So Celtics beat the Knicks. I think Cavs beat the Bucks. Celtics beat the Cavs, and then Thunder play the Clippers. Do I want to take the? I'm going to take the Thunder over the Clippers. Lakers, Warriors. That's a really tough one. I'm going to lean. Oh man, this is the tough.
That's such a tough one.
Yeah. I'm gonna lean Lakers.
That's such a tough one.
I'm gonna lean Lakers, but it's definitely a tough one.
That's going 7 if that happens.
I hope it does. Soak that one in, JSU, because we get LeBron versus Curry, and who knows?
It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be awesome.
We'll get it again. And then Lakers, Thunder. You know what? I'm gonna take the Lakers, JSU. I'm not a big believer in the Thunder. I think they're a really good basketball team. I think their time is going to come, just like the Celtics back in the day. Their time was going to come. It's going to come soon, but just not yet. I think the Thunder will be a dynasty at some point. Just we're not there yet. And then give me the Celtics over the Lakers in the NBA Finals, and it's a good one. It goes 6. It goes 6. I'll say. So, all right.
Yeah. I would, just to throw mine out there, I got the Celtics and getting them past the Cavs, and then for the West, Golden State Lakers, definitely the toughest one. I lean the Lakers in 7. That's going to be a crazy series, though. I could see it either way. I got Nuggets over OKC, and then I've got Lakers going to the finals over the Nuggets and losing to the Boston Celtics. But we get the Lakers versus the Celtics in the NBA Finals. What the NBA wants, what the NBA needed for those bad ratings. We got the Luka Doncic trade, which saved the ratings. Now we're going to get the Lakers. Can you imagine the headlines, the storylines, man, going when Luka gets to the finals against the Lakers and all they're talking about is how Luka got traded midseason and how they made this crazy run after and all their stats went from bad to great with Luka. Like, it's just going to – I can't wait. It's going to be the whole thing in the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. JSU, Boston bias. Listen, man, they're the best team.
I will say, when the trade happened, I immediately bet, I tweeted it out, Lakers, Celtics, finals. I did the exact results on DraftKings. They had that exact results for that series. It's like, I feel like it's meant to be. I feel like the NBA wants it with the ratings. You can't tell me that trade didn't save the ratings in a way. Adam Silver even said as much that trade definitely helped with the ratings on one of, I forget, was he talking to McAfee? I think it was him talking to McAfee a day or two ago. And he actually said it. Like, he actually said, like, the midseason moves kind of definitely helped the ratings a little bit. So
he said the ratings were really bad early in the season. And then he basically said, like, the ratings only ended up being down 2%. And he said the reason why is a lot of the late season stuff. And he mentioned, like, that just shows how, like, we're kind of on, like, an upward trend of, like, the ratings in a good direction. So, like, we want to, like, hope that works out well for the playoffs. So, what is Lambda saying? Nobody taking the Nuggets hot. Jokic supposedly a generation player, but 11 years in the league now and 1 trip to the finals. Landa, I'll let you fight Big T on that one. That's not my bad.
He's won a championship. I don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah, he's won a bunch of finals MVP.
What do you want? I don't know what you want. Like, he's done it. He's been the MVP how many times? He's been in the MVP race how many times? Like, what do you want him to do? I guess is my. Do you want him to be Steph? Do you want him to win like 5 championships? I guess I don't know. He's definitely a generational player. There's no doubt. Like, no center has ever done what he's done. Yeah. No one. Like, you can't. Is Steph better? Maybe. I think Steph is, in my opinion, I think Steph is the most generational, like, from the standpoint, like, I think he's changed the game maybe more than anybody, just with the way he plays. Like I'm not saying he's better than everyone, but when you look at, like, from just changing the game, Steph, I think, has done probably the most from, like, the youth perspective and everything like that. I feel like everyone's coming in trying to be Steph Curry. Like, he totally changed the game, in my opinion, from a generational standpoint. Jokic, it's a lot tougher, Mangone, because how many guys are trying to do that or even can't even think about doing it? Like, it's tough with his skill set. It's just really tough. And him being like 7'1" or whatever.
JC, Steph came into the league in 2009, 2010 season. I graduated high school in 2009, and when I was in college, I worked with kids, kindergarten to 4th grade, right? And for those first 4, 5, 6 years, however long I was there, all the kids were shooting threes and wearing Curry jerseys, and that's when I knew. Of course they were. Yeah, of course they were. That's when I realized, I was like, this dude's changed the game more than LeBron. And, like, no one's wearing LeBron jerseys. They can't.
And that was early, Mangone.
Exactly.
That was early, right? Like, imagine now, like that.
Oh, yeah.
And on top of it, what if he wins? What if he wins this year?
If he wins the finals this year, it's gonna start being an interesting conversation.
Do we start putting him in the LeBron, Michael, Kobe, GOAT conversation? Like I don't know. If he wins another one, I think you kind of have to.
It's definitely something you could consider.
I mean, he's beat LeBron. You know what I mean? Like he's done it in that era. He's beat LeBron. Like, at what point do you put him in there?
Yeah. Someone said Harden, Westbrook, etc. have averaged 38 and 12 and didn't get the love Jokic got. He's not something new. We haven't seen it before. Do Westbrook and Harden have titles? They do not.
Is Westbrook and Harden 7'1", slow ass European dude who is like, it's a completely I'll tell you right now, they averaged it completely different. Like Harden threes and getting to the line, Jokic, it's just totally different. You know what I mean? I get what you're saying from a number standpoint, but it's just, you got to also like how it looks when you watch it. It's just a completely different thing, especially Harden. I'll give you the Russ year, Mangone, might have been the best singular year. What was that, 2016? When it was like him on the OKC Thunder with like, what was it? Steven Adams was like his second best player or whoever it was. I can't remember, but he didn't have like Harden or KD at that time. They were all gone. And he was just putting up triple doubles nightly. Like, it was just the craziest thing ever. Like, that might be one of the best statistical singular seasons I've ever seen personally.
Oh yeah. It was definitely
that year was crazy. That year was fucking insane. But to do it consistently in the way Jokic is doing it, I think is just different.
Yeah, no, it's definitely different.
Not to say it's like way better or it's just different. 7'1", slow-footed center. We've never seen that shit. We've seen Harden, we've seen Westbrook. We've never seen that.
Yes, you're definitely right about that. We got someone in the chat. He says there's only one black goat, Mike. Well, he has two children. They're Jimmy Butler and Ann Edwards, as is joked about conspiracy theory.
I agree. I think Mike is the GOAT. I'm saying though, if people are going to put LeBron in the conversation and people are going to put Kobe in the conversation, then why wouldn't you put Steph? If he wins another one, like why wouldn't you put Steph?
Yeah, you're just
that's all I'm saying.
Jason, you're just saying, hey, like he should be in the conversation. That's all you're at.
I never said he should be better than Mike or ahead of Mike. Mike is the GOAT. I totally agree with that.
All right, fair enough, JSU. Let's get to the plays of the day. Who do you got? Who is your play of the day?
Yeah, play of the day. I think I got to stick in one of these two early games because I talked it up. I wanted to be, in on these games here. And I went back and forth on if I wanted to be a cheap guy, but I think the guy I'm definitely going to end up being overweight on is probably Kawhi Leonard at 8,400. I think this game is the best game. I think it's the game I want to be the most over on. And so, I went back and forth on Kawhi or James because I think they're really close. I think they're both really good plays. I think I'm going to lean Kawhi Leonard. So I got Kawhi Leonard as my play, 8,400 here. And then, for a cheap play, I do like Aaron Nesmith. I think he's an interesting cheap guy at 4,100.
All right, Aaron Nesmith it is for the cheap guy. Spend up is Kawhi Leonard. All right, if I had to give you a spend, JSU, it's Giannis Antetokounmpo. Loading up on Giannis, I think he has a monster game in the paint against Indiana. Next one, JSU, I'm going to give you a value. I believe he starts. If he doesn't start, I think he gets a lot of run, and he's not a value I think you're going to expect, but I hope the Timberwolves see what I've seen with some of their lineups. Dante DiVincenzo, 4.2K. He's a really cheap value, and I think he is a solid option at guard and forward. Actually, no, he's not even forward eligible, but point guard and shooting guard eligible. Give me Dante DiVincenzo as a nice, cheap contrarian option if you're looking for one. So
I like that.
All right. That is the slate. JSU, answer this question, and then we can get on out of here. Would you play Leonard and Harden together?
I think you can. Yeah, I think you can on this slate at those price tags. I both guys are going to play 40 plus minutes for sure. And in that scenario, I think both guys can get there. You might be limited a little on like the ceiling, but I don't know, man. Going, what do you want like from both those guys? Like you want like 110 combined?
Yeah, I would say you'd want 110. You want at least the 100, right? The 50. 100's fine, I would say. You can definitely get away with 100. But
yeah, and I think what happens is like one guy gets like 55 plus, and one guy gets close to 50. So
if you do that, JSU, I think you want to try to find a way to get some Nuggets, but the problem is they're pricey too, right? Like that's the issue you run into.
It's really hard. That's why I kind of like Braun. You know, I like if I need to get like a Nugget, he's a random one that can kind of pop off. And I wish Aaron Gordon's price tag was like 5,500, but yeah, it's definitely a tough one. And on top of it, like we talked about Jokic and Giannis, like both really good studs. So it's going to be interesting from a lineup construction standpoint because I really want to play at least one of Kawhi or James, and maybe both together. But I really want at least one, and then I want to play some Nuggets because I do think that game's going to be awesome.
Yeah, no, I get it. Also, I have a bone to pick with the chat, JSU. I have been chastised all year. All year, everyone has been like, "Man, go your hair."
Chastised, that's a good word.
Your hair looks greasy. You look like you haven't woke up. I mean, no one said anything about my hair. You guys always see it.
Dude, you had a hat on.
No, JSU, I wear a hat every day, and they always see my hair.
Yeah, but you had a hat on, though.
No one saw it.
Why would you wear the hat?
I wore the hat because I just woke up, and the hair's all over.
There you go. Why would you wear the hat? You just got a haircut. The whole point of the hat was to hide the hair, which I totally get. Not that I can talk, obviously, because I look like shit. But, like, why would you wear the hat? I'm not getting on the chat for that because I didn't even – honestly, Mangone, I like, noticed I couldn't see your hair on the sides, but I didn't, like, put it together.
Yeah.
That's not a haircut.
But the chat is very crafty. They notice everything. They say I'm homeless every day.
I'm surprised they didn't notice it. I'm surprised they didn't notice it.
No one said it. That's all. Binaire apparently said it, noticed it, but yeah, so – he thought I was coming out to you guys. Okay, good stuff. Good stuff. All right.
That's gonna do it. Don't forget to the King of the Playoff promo on DK Sportsbook. Check that out. It's an awesome promo. Pick the guy you think is going to score the most points on the entire slate. $5 minimum bet. It's a $2 million prize pool you can win a piece of. Check that promo out on DraftKings Sportsbook. And we'll be back tomorrow. Same time for Easter, same time, same place, 10 a.m. Eastern time. Might have the big man on the show tomorrow. We'll see. Cannot completely confirm, so come back for that. But yeah, we'll be back. Got to get the content up. Mangone's got the MLB/NBA content. I'm going to get the slate builder up, and we'll be ready to go for today's 4-game NBA slate. Don't forget, too, there's late swap, right, Mangone? So you can swap in between games. So keep that in mind, depending on how your teams are looking and stuff like that. You can move around.
I will be swapping for sure.
I know you will be.
Big T will be here if the Nuggets win. I promise you that. He will be slobbing all over them and making fun of us.
He'll be here either way, either taking his medicine or victory lapping if they win tonight. So either way, he'll be here.
All right. Hashtag DK partner. We got to get on out of here. Thanks a lot for joining us on the show. For me, Mangone, and JSU. We'll see you guys later.